What's up, everybody? It's Evan. I am so excited to show you this little song. By the time you're seeing this, my new single, Everything's Alright, is officially out in the world. So after this video is done, please go and stream it, go buy it, listen to it on whatever music platform you like. But I thought since we are snowed in here in Nashville that I'd take you inside the session and give you a little song breakdown of Everything's Alright. Now this song is very, very special to me. One, because it was written on my very first trip to Nashville, just about 2 years ago now. And this song was recorded, produced fully here at home. So I'm gonna take you inside the session, a little bit of admin here of what we're working with on the desk. And this is essentially pieces from my mobile recording studio that just kind of got integrated into a pretty nicely functioning home studio setup. So a computer, we're working with a 2018 Mac Mini right here behind the computer screen, a Volt 476 4-channel interface, the IK Multimedia iLoud speakers, Korg Micro Key Air, it's a 25 key keyboard, and yeah, that's pretty much it. I have this SEV7 that I use as a talkback mic when we're recording stuff on the opposite side of the room here, but this is also what we tracked all of the background vocals on. In terms of the lead vocal mic, it's the AEA 84A ribbon phantom-powered microphone. You've seen it in the cover videos that I've posted, in Kings' cover videos that he's posted, that we've recorded here, and you'll see more of that microphone pop up as we keep rolling out new videos and whatnot. But everything was recorded here, monitored here. I produced, mixed, mastered everything here, and it was a nice little challenge. And this song means a lot to me, and I thought I'd take a shot at recording a version, my version of this song. So looking here at the session, we have essentially it breaks down. I'm a little OCD, so I color coordinated everything. So we got drums, we got percussion, bass, keys, some Mellotron stuff, guitars, this slide guitar, electric rhythm, electric lead, a separate bus for the guitar solo, my background vocals, Kings' background vocals, and then just a general verb for both of them since they're in separate folders, and then the lead vocal. So going into the drums first, pretty much everything here is sampled. So I did have a MIDI drum pattern at first that I played physically on the piano, but I realized it sounded a little too fake. So I pulled some samples that I had from that sound library and pretty much re-sampled the drum, the MIDI drums that I had. So a cool technique that I learned, a cool trick that I learned while I was putting the song together is that Logic has its own stock drum replacement. So I took the MIDI drums that I made, and you can actually change them and import a sample into the drum pattern, and it essentially prints it out as a MIDI, and then you convert that MIDI to audio. So I did that for all of these. So we have a kick resample drum. There's a separate flam here because I did a lot of during all of the changes, and hi-hat, rack tom, floor tom, overhead, and then there is a little there's a little floor tom flam thing here happening, and that's just a duplication of the track, kind of shifted a little bit. So let's hear the drums here.
On my last name.
So I blended in like a snare top with a kind of beefier snare bottom. Here's the kick sample I was talking about, with some overheads. The only thing I believe that's the same from the original MIDI sample is the hi-hat, because I'm doing a lot of open, a lot of sizzle, a lot of closed stuff, so I couldn't really tweak that as much as I could with regular drum samples. And that's pretty much the drums here. When you're looking at the processing, so here looking at the processing for the channels, I have Fat FX, which is Logic's kind of stock saturation compressor on the kick and the snares, and a little bit of distortion on that top snare just to kind of rattle it up a bit. A different snare verb for the snares here. Hat didn't really do anything with. Again, like I said, that's the only thing that I kept from the original MIDI groove. Rack tom, pitch shifted it up a little, down a little bit, just to kind of round out the tone. Compressor there, compressor EQ gain. The gain is just for the phase invert, so that I'm not phase canceling anything. And then just a multi-compressor. I started with the Hi-Fi Drums default setting, and I kind of liked it. I didn't really change it. And then here, I pretty much routed the entire bus folder, the bus send, to a drum reverb here with cutoff, low cutoff at like 85, and then just a dip around 5K just to not have it be a little too harsh. And then the Valhalla room, I kind of set it to like a gate drum, but I boosted up the pre-delay there. There's the multipressor on the entire drum bus. Pretty much that's pretty much it for the drums. Now, percussion stuff, there's a little bit of things happening, especially at the end. But here, what I have going, during the choruses and the big sections, I have a separate hey and a clap, and it sounds like this. So there's that, and just kind of rounding out and kind of adding a little bit more to the dynamics of the snare drum there, so in context versus without it. Cool. And then in there also, I put in a little shaker here. That one is actually pretty funny because because I don't have a tambourine and I don't have a shaker here, I actually used a MIDI shaker and go pop, 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 and then added some reverb just to make it sound a little more natural. So yeah, some Valhalla Vintage Verb. It's one of my favorite. All the Valhalla effects plugins are my favorite there to use. Got accents on the tambourines there. And then here in the bridge, there's this like nice little riser kind of tucked in back there just to add some momentum before the drop comes in. And then right here at the end, just a splice sample of a rattle shake. So pretty easy. I'm not trying to do too much in the percussion, just to kind of add dynamics for the drums. Electric bass, this was me playing a bass on here. Just guitar line in to the interface here with a bass amp plug-in. I kind of have the compressor cranked a little harder than I would if I was playing any other type of music, but because this is kind of riding the line between country and rock, I felt the need to kind of dirty it up a little bit. As far as I know, that's pretty much all I did. I didn't really add any other type of extra stuff on it. Keys here, there's a couple different keys things happening. There's piano, and there's an organ. And all of those are MIDI plugins. The organ is a stock rock organ plugin from Logic, and the piano, I believe, is Addictive Keys. And I just liked the sound of the Addictive Keys patch here. I did add a drive pedal on the organ. So that versus And, you know, it's not really that prominent. The organ is in the track, so I felt okay with kind of dirtying it up a little bit and kind of pushing it a little farther back in the mix. The Mellotron here, all it really is a Mellotron of the lead line. So just kind of tucked behind there to add some color. Here, the acoustic guitar. This is now a stereo track. It was double take, so I recorded the acoustic guitar, I believe just line in, and I recorded 2 passes of it and panned them left and right. And then once I started mixing it, I merged it together to a stereo file, just because it was easier to manage. So in here, not really much going on. EQ kind of cutting around 35, 40, dipping around 400. And with the FabFilter Pro Q3, the one thing that I really like is you can add dynamic EQ. So you can see here right around 87, or 8.7, I should say, it's ducking a lot of that high end, because I don't need a lot of that, because a lot of that's coming from the extra percussion, a lot of that is coming from some extra electric guitar stuff, and then little guitar verb. Again, there's vintage verb back again here. So let's listen to what we got so far. So we got all the way through drums, percussion, bass, keys, and the Mellotron. So it sounds like that. Love. So this slide sample, I'm going to skip the slide up intro. I'm going to come to that next. But this slide sample, this is actually a sample from Splice. What I did to that sample is that I actually put it into a sampler, and you can actually play out the different chops. So yeah, let's get that on. So you can actually. So I found the sample where it was just the triad, because a lot of those a lot of the intro chords are major chords, because it goes from E flat to D flat to A flat to F minor. Of course, F minor and A flat being relative major and minor to each other. So it just became really easy for me to export that and actually make the intro chords from a sample. Slide, I will go on record as someone that lives in Nashville. My slide guitar is not the greatest, but what I ended up doing, just because I wanted to fill out the intros a little bit more, I took my guitar and I put it on my lap, and I have this brass slide, and I was essentially playing it like a lap steel. So that's this. It's not great. It's not great. And then the line also. Ba-da-da-da-da-da. And it's tucked enough behind that it doesn't really distract, but also adds the grit that I was looking for. I was looking for more so the just the dirtiness of having that. So this slide up intro here, again, this is a Splice sample that I found and I loved. So this is the original sample. I believe I pitched that into the key that I needed it to be, but I wanted more depth to that slide. So I actually took it, pitched it up, and then took it and then printed it, pitched down. But in the context, when all three of them are playing together, I liked it, but I felt like I was missing one of the notes in the chord. So I actually took a Mellotron. Logic is a very, very good Mellotron plugin, and I actually added the voicing that I felt like I was missing. So all three of them together sound like. So that's pretty much all that's in there for that little slide up intro. That was a last minute add. I added that like the day before I had to turn the song in. let's see, electric guitars. We just have one here. We have one here in the beginning, and then we have a second one in the second half of the song. That is actually me plugging into this. It's called a Synergy. Essentially, it's the head of an amp without the cabinet. So this thing is fully decked out with tubes, and it works like a Nintendo 64 cartridge. For those of you that know what those are, these actually come out, and I just get the desktop the desktop model, and I can put these inside and switch out, like if I want to sound like a Vox, or if I want to sound like a Princeton, or if I want to sound like a Deluxe Verb. You can actually take these out and switch them accordingly, or you can have more than one, and then you can end up having fun with blending two amps together. So this is a 2-track, so there's actually space to do a channel A and a channel B. So that's what I ended up doing here, using channel B for both sides. So my guitar 1/4 inch into the front here, and it takes XLR out into the interface. So that's track 1 for the electric guitars. Here is number 2. Kind of doing like little triad stuff, the two of them together. Yep. Guitar lead here. I wanted this to be dynamically powerful with a band. So when I was thinking about like guitar lines, and I build a lot of my songs around like riffs, to where like once we start playing the song, you know exactly what song it is. So I landed with this line. And then I was messing around at home one day, and I thought I'd try to come up with the harmony line for it. And I liked it so much that I actually had to relearn how to play the song. So so here, there actually is a little bit going on here with the electric guitar, because again, I was doing line in, no pedals. So I got the RX voice dehum just because the guitar was a little too noisy for my liking in the beginning. And then I kind of did a little brick wall here at 11.5K just to get rid of that extra noise. Tape delay, kind of short, quick slapback delay, and then a little mini vintage verb just to give it some room sound. So here's with it, and here's without it. Love. Yeah, there. Let's go solo here. The solo is just a 1 take. I comped the solo. I just did this last because I wanted a different kind of solo, but I thought I'd give the guitar solo a try. The guitar solo here, same thing with the Synergy. And pretty much all I have in there is an EQ, just kind of thinning it out a little bit. The Goodhertz Wolf compressor. I use this a lot. I used this, where do I have it? I have it on the solo, I have it on the slide guitar, and I have it on the keys. I have it on the keys bus. I love this one, especially when I'm looking for a lot of like wavy lo-fi stuff. This is great. I have it like kind of on a punchier setting now. But yeah, the solo is pretty straightforward. It's just a 4-bar solo here. The background vocals. I love a good background vocal. So there's a lot going on here because there's not just me. There's also King's singing here. So we'll start with me. So I wanted to add some dynamics to the intro. So I'm singing the line, both the harmony and the main, and adding like a 3-part ooh to the chord. These 4, 5. These were originally done with this SE V7 just plugged in here. Ooh, but I was trying to keep quiet because it was late at night, so I was whispering a lot of those notes. So when I came back to record the lead vocal, I redid them, just kind of singing them in a full voice here. There's also chorus harmonies. Taking it a day at a time. I actually melodined all that and cranked the auto-tune on it. This is me personally, and the reason why I asked Kings to also contribute his voice to it is that I do not like hearing too much of my own voice, especially when I'm producing songs. If I'm producing songs of my own or of other people's, I'll usually recommend a different voice for backgrounds, just because I feel like it adds a little bit of character. You know, no two voices sound the same. So if I supplement my voice, if I am in a space where I'm just doing my own background vocals, like out of necessity, I'll do stuff like changing the formant or the throat shape in auto-tune, just to make it not sound like me, but also still have the same, just ride the line between having the cohesiveness of a good vocal without making it sound like there's just not enough depth in the vocal tone. So I'll usually either crank the auto-tune to make it sound more robotic, or I'll leave it a little more natural and dip the formant down so it drowns out a little bit. Here we go. So you can hear the auto-tune working in there, and I left it like that on purpose. But here's it with Kings's stuff. I'll try to get to heaven. And I kind of like tucked it behind just to add, like I said, more depth. Here on the channel, all of these are printed, by the way. So all of the Melodyne, all of the auto-tune and stuff were printed just so that I didn't have to run 15 instances of Melodyne and auto-tune in this session. All of these are going to a background vocal bus here. Vintage Verb, there she is again. And then on the main channel, super easy, because I did a lot of the processing and printed it after the fact. Just a low cut, and then just a dip right here, and then compressor, just a stock one, just to catch all of the trying to get to heaven. Taking it a day at a time. It's mainly to catch these intro parts. But that's all I have there. Kings's, I printed all of the auto-tune in the Melodyne before I blended it in, so I didn't really touch his stuff all that much. Yeah. Lead vocal here. Oh, there is one thing before we get to the lead vocal that I learned, and it's called a groove track. So it's essentially, for you producers, it's essentially Logic's stock version of or vocal line. So all I need to do here is, once I enable groove track, and I do that by clicking, right-clicking on whatever track header I want, and in track header components, I just select groove track. And when I do that, I essentially can choose what I want other tracks to follow. So in this case, my lead vocal is the one that's starred, and Kings's 2 background vocals here is what is following the lead vocal. So it'll auto-align the transients to make sure that it follows the vocal. And you can do some manual shifting and stuff too, but it was so much easier for me to just have the computer internally find and kind of ballpark it from there. And then I was able to move stuff around if I wanted to. The lead vocal here, again, was recorded on the AEA Phantom Power ribbon style microphone that's right behind camera over there. A little bit about what's going on here, just because there's a lot. So on the vocal chain, going in, there's really nothing other than the compressor style and the vintage color from the Volt 476. I like it. I tend to leave it, especially because sometimes when I'm singing songs like this, I tend to be a little thinner than I should. So having the vintage setting on kind of rounds out that color for me. Here is my vocal.
Me, I sing like the birds in the trees. Some folks work like a dog. Some folks got a couple mil in the bank, and some ain't got
nothing. Here we got Melodyne on. I ran all the lead vocals through Melodyne. I did 3 takes of the entire song nonstop. That's just my preference. I know a lot of producers will like go section by section by section. In my experience, doing something like that where I do section by section by section doesn't help me set up for the next section. So I'll just, if the song is more familiar, I'll just run the whole thing top to bottom 3 times. That's usually enough for me to comp something together and kind of cut and paste and glue my best takes together. I got Auto-Tune Artist on here. Just a low retune speed to catch anything that I really missed. There's a lot of flat 7s in here. So there's a lot of, this song is in the key of E flat major. There's a lot of D flats in this song, just because that's how my brain wanted to sing this song. So I had to keep it on a chromatic setting instead of a major key setting, because D flat is not in the key of E flat. So after the Melodyne and the Auto-Tune, Pro Q3 EQ, so just pulling out some of the low end that's unnecessary, dipping right around 375 with the dynamic setting here, kind of boosting around 1.8 and then boosting around 9.6 just to add some air to the vocal. Here's the vocal de-esser from Antares. So this is the same guys that do the Auto-Tune, and especially because Antares and their Auto-Tune package is now a monthly subscription. I believe it's like $30 a month for the entire vocal suite. It was easier, and I feel like it's a little nicer than any of the stock de-esser plugins that Logic has, or some from Oxford, or maybe just because it lets you break down the sibilants from each sound. It'll analyze the sound and take the S's and the Z's away from the T's and the CH's and the K's, and you can actually adjust the threshold for each of those, and it'll recognize the difference. Here, Tube EQ, the stock Logic Tube EQ here, just to kind of add a little bit more color. I added a little bit more drive to the output of this particular plugin, just because I wanted it warmer and I wanted it to sound like it was going through an actual tube EQ. And then compressor here. I tweaked this setting. I try to shoot somewhere between 5 and 7, -5 and -7 anytime I'm using the compressor. I don't want to use it too much. Quick attack, slower release than I would have wanted, or than I would have automatically set it to. And then let's see here. Let's see what else we got. Vocal verb. I'm using the UAD Spark Pure Plate Reverb. This one is really nice. It's actually very, very subtle, and I can play with it, and you can notice the difference, like even with the most minuscule of changes. And then here, vocal delay, just a quick slapback delay from the from Logic here. Let's see here. Let's do a before and after.
Trying to get to heaven, taking it a day at a time. Ain't nobody better than the next one, no matter what they post online. And I'm hoping and I'm praying someday we might realize that nothing's ever perfect, but everything's alright.
Nice. All right. And then over here, just for the record, I had a long snare long delay that I ended up not wanting to use anymore, and a background vocal delay that I ended up not wanting to use anymore. Yeah, that's pretty much it, section by section. Here is the here's everything
It'll
together.
be
Here's
just
the ending
fine.
chorus.
We're all trying to get to heaven, taking it a day at a time. Ain't nobody better than the next one, no matter what they post online. And I'm hoping and I'm praying.
Nice. All right. Last thing, mastering chain, because I am in love with being able to master my own stuff now. So there's a couple things in here. We'll do a little before and after for you, but the Good Hertz mid-side matrix, just kind of widening out the sound a little bit. This is actually the default setting for their wide preset, and I kind of just left it there. That's one. Ozone 9 Elements. This is the actual, this is the entry-level version of it, and it's got this really, really good master assistant to where if you're just trying to like get it to line level to send out to someone, you can actually play back the track, hit master assistant, and it'll recognize the song and kind of get you a starting point, and then you can tweak the starting point from that. So that's actually what I did when I was bouncing versions of this song as I was still working on it. In here, actually, let's go back. So EQ stuff here, imager stuff just widening, and then their maximizer. And that's pretty much all the elements one has. Once you get to the higher ones, then it'll have more functionality. Just the last compressor, super subtle here, just kind of adding some of the, just adding back some of the mids and highs here. I actually just started with the pop compressor preset and then started tweaking stuff. I don't believe I tweaked much once I listened to this. And then the multimeter, just so I could make sure that I was in the right ballpark for making sure that it wasn't too loud or too soft. So before and after, let's go in the same spot.
We're all trying to get to heaven, taking it a day at a time. Ain't nobody better than the next one,
Elements.
no matter what they post online. And I'm hoping and I'm praying someday we might realize that nothing's ever perfect.
Yeah, that's pretty much the whole thing. A couple other things that I learned while I was working on this song is I was always, when I was making music before I moved to Nashville, I was very much a stickler for not using presets and trying to do every little tweak from scratch. For those of you that maybe you're starting to just record your first song, let presets get you started. The multipressor setting on the master bus started as the Final Pop compressor plugin from Logic. And I just started doing little tweaks and changes from there, as well as these Valhalla plugins. These are actual presets that come with the plugin. Don't be afraid to use them and tweak your setting if you don't know where to start. A couple other tricks that I found and that I learned, especially, I play drums, but I don't have a drum set here at the house. So once I'm doing these individual stems, you can actually do like a cheat room mic here by adjusting the parameters of the EQ and then adding the reverb instead of the other way around, so that you're not sending every frequency to a reverb. That, especially when you have such a big thing, and especially when you're trying to add all of these different elements, putting an EQ before you adjust your reverb will, at least in my experience, help me out a lot. And then, that's pretty much the entire song. I hope you like listening to it. I hope you enjoy the song. Putting this together took a minute, and I'm so happy that it's finally out in the world. Again, the new song is called Everything's Alright. You can stream it and listen to it and buy it wherever you consume music. It's on all platforms, and I can't wait to do this again with a brand new song. Until next time, be safe, be well. See you soon.